It is the 24th of October. This is Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
And we should be at Zion now, I think.
I believe so. Yeah. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. Yeshiva Shamanavshi here in Shalim Care of Zoom. This is our second shir in the morning. Mr. Bruce here. We're learning Hilchos Nesiyas Kafayim, otherwise known as Berchas Kohanim. Sing Tukav Ches, and we are in Sif Zion, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Sif Zion. Yep. So we can pick up from there. Yeah, Mara, if you'd like to read, you was the honors.
Okay. So it says, Im natala kohen yadav shacharit uvarech al netilat yadayim. So if the kohen washes his hands in the morning and says the blessing al netilat yadayim, lo yachzor levarek shenotel yadav l'nesiyat kapayim. Oh, so he should not repeat the blessing when he does when he washes his hands for the priestly blessing. Okay, so he should not say the blessing. Okay. We're doing it. Okay.
Good. Okay. Let's see the Mr. Brewer there.
Okay, so let's see Kaf Daled. It says Lo Yaksor Levarech. So he should not repeat the blessing on the Netilat Yadayim. Okay. Dili'inyan bracha samchinan al harambam disfira le diyatsa benetila shenatal shacharit. Okay, so what's Dil Inan? For the matter of the bracha?
Yes, exactly. The matter concerning the matter of the bracha.
Oh, okay. Samchin al Rambam. That's the opinion of the Rambam, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Samchin, we rely on the opinion of the Rambam.
Oh, we rely on the opinion that one is fulfilled Natila when he washes his hands in the morning.
Right.
Okay. Because dafka imlo naga b'makom mitunaf v'lo hisiach dato beintayim. So let's see. With all this specifically, if he doesn't Nagaba Makom.
Nagav means to touch a place,
Oh, touch a place. Oh, that's dirty. Minutaf,
yes.
I think we said it was dirty.
Exactly.
Okay, so he doesn't touch a place that's dirty, and v'lo hisiach dato time, and it doesn't come into his mind in the meantime.
Siach daita means to take his mind off, to lose concentration. Meaning,
lose concentration. Oh, in the meantime.
right.
Okay.
So we can,
yeah.
For the bracha, we can rely on the Rambam's opinion that you can assume the hands were washed properly at the beginning of the davening, and therefore the Rambam holds there's no need to repeat even the washing. So when we in fact go ahead and repeat the washing, right? So we can eliminate the need for making a bracha, because we can say that in terms of the Rambam's view, there's no need for the washing at all, right? So therefore, we won't have to require another bracha to be made for the konim. That's as long, however, as a person wasn't touching a place which was there. He didn't touch his shoes, or he didn't take his mind off keeping his hands from wandering around and scratching his head or touching things which would not be necessarily clean. Okay? So therefore, we can be makel lenient in those cases, except if there's, and that's as long as there has not been any lack of concentration or any actual contamination of the hands by dirty things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why. I mean, I have the tradition of untying my shoes and taking them off before I even wash my hands.
Right, very good.
So a lot of I notice a lot of the younger fellas wear shoes that don't tie,
Right.
and they I guess after they wash their hands, they sort of just slip them off with their feet.
Right. Yeah, that's.
I mean, I guess that's okay.
Going by us, he has a shoehorn that helps him put the shoe back on.
Yeah, I have that too, so I don't have to touch my shoes.
Right.
But a small one. There's one shul in town that has one where you don't even have to sit down to put your shoes back on. It's a real tall shoehorn.
I used to have one of those. Yeah, it's very good. You don't have to even bend down. You just can just put it there, and it's right on the spot.
Right. Okay. So let's see. So aval im hisiak doto bein time. Oh, but if he does have an interruption in his thoughts in the meantime.
Right. Any lack of concentration. Right. On keeping his hands clean.
Lack of concentration. V'chol shechein kishenaga b'makom mitunaf. V'chol shechein.
Even more so. Closer, even more so.
Oh, more so. Oh, than touching a place that's dirty. Okay. Tzarik lechule alma levarech ata al hanetila. So then he is generally commanded, not commanded. He should say, is required to say the bracha now al netila, in the washing. Chen katuv magain David, and this is written in the Magain David. Okay. The Eliyah Rabbah Katav, the Chol Gavnei Ein Sarich Levarech Al Netila Zo. So Eliyah Rabbah writes that the Chol Gavnei. What's that, like generally, or?
And in Kol Gavnei, in all cases.
Oh, in all cases, it's not required to say this blessing. Well,
Right.
That's interesting.
Right, in all cases. That and that's a how would we say that Eliyah Rabbah, because of Kol Gavnei sort of all in the zoo. So that's going to be okay. So let's see. The Mr. was going to at the end. He's going to tell us what to do. Lamaisa. What should you do? What should you do in terms of the bracha if you know definitely you had dirtied your hands in one way or another?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see. The Shema lo netakein klal bracha al netila zo. The Shema that perhaps lo netakein nitkan. Wow. He doesn't. Nitkan is usually repair, I thought.
Well, lo nitakein is established. It wasn't instituted.
Oh, it wasn't instituted. this bracha al natila. Okay, for
Right.
the washing of the hands.
Klal at all, like klal, meaning it could be that there was absolutely no institutionalized need for this bracha at all.
Uh-huh. Oh. V'chein nahagu shelo levarech b'shum gavne. Okay, and so therefore there's no custom to say this blessing.
Right.
Okay. V'lachein kol kohen yarei v'charei yishmor yadav mishaat netila shacharit. Oh, so what's and therefore the kohen not fears.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Excuse me.
Ray is fear, but
Yeah, right. With the chain kol kohen yara v'chared, the median in Eretz Israel, they call the Orthodox Jews charedim.
oh, take precaution or something. Or?
Well, yeah, like they're chared literally means to like tremble, right? Tremble. Here chared is he's fearful and he trembles. He should be so any coin yar the kol coin yira b'chari, every coin should be fearful and tremble yishmor yadav and be careful to guard his hands.
Guard his hands. Oh, from the time of washing them in the morning. Oh.
Right, exactly. Mishas netiloso shachis, from the time of washing them in the morning. Right?
Okay. Shelo ligaba makom hamelucha, so that they should not touch a place that's dirty. Shelo yipol bisveik bracha, so that he should not have a doubt about his bracha.
Right, because if he keeps his hands clean, so then there's no necessity for the bracha at all, right? If he happens to dirty his hands for some reason, so now it's a question as to whether or not he has to make the bracha.
Mm-hmm.
Right, in the end, it's going to be a suffix bracha. In the end, he's never, even if he does get his hands dirty, he's still not going to be able to make a bracha because it's always going to boil down to a suffix bracha. But l'tchatchila, you don't want to enter into a situation where you are doubtful whether you're obligated to make the bracha or not.
Uh-huh. I see.
Sorry, I'm late.
Okay, we'll catch you up. We're right here in the second volume of the Mishna Berura in Siman Kuf Chaf Ches Siv Zayin. Did you ever see a bracha? Did you ever say, Barry? You ever saw any of the Kohanim make you a bracha on it when you wash their hands?
No, I never heard them. They may be saying something quietly, but I never. It doesn't seem like they're saying any bracha, but they say that. But also, I want, maybe we can answer it later. But also, when I wash the Kohanim's hands, they say Yashikoyach or stuff like that. So I always wonder what's the proper response. I say Baruch Tiyeh.
Okay.
Right, because I heard other people say that, but I always wondered, like, why am I saying that? Why am I giving them a bracha? They're going to be giving me. You know what I mean? Why am I saying you should be blessed?
No, because it's when a person gives a person, like when you say for example, and actually the derech eretz is when a person gives you a bracha, you should return a bracha to them and even give them a bigger bracha than that they're giving you. Right.
Yeah.
For example, when a person says "Good Shabbos" to you, right, you should say "Good Shabbos" and a good yara. You should say a good Shabbos and a good year. Give them a blessing that's even more than just the Shabbos. right? So, but that's the general Pederach Eretz. That's the protocol that when a person blesses you, you should say that's the Gemara. The Gemara says Bechein Lamar. There was a point in the Gemara where one of the Bali Gemoras, one of the Tanoim and Amoraim, they gave a bracha to one of their associates, and he didn't get a response, and so he criticized him. Why didn't you say Bechein Lamar? You say at least the same to you. At least say the same to you, right? Person gives you a bracha, the very least you can say is it, at least the same to you. Bechein Lamar.
Yeah.
That's a Gemara. Sure, that's what they call a real life Gemara. That was actually took place.
Okay. My battery is very low. I'm trying to get it. Sorry. Okay, I think I'm better now.
Right. That's a Gemara in Megillah. If you want to look it up sometime, it's a Gemara in Megillah. Chav Zayin Amid Beis. Right? Chav Zayin says Shema Rav Ikpid. Rav heard and it was Makpid. Amar, my time lo amartili berkasekta v'chein lamar. Why didn't you say to me when I gave you a bracha v'chein lamar? Why didn't you say v'chein lamar? Rav was Makpid about that. Oh yes.
There was an old Russian man that worked in the yeshiva. He was, imprisoned by the Russians, and he was in a concentration camp. I mean, he went through such sores, and he had this philosophy of you gave him a bracha, he would give you a bigger bracha. So if I saw him and I said leaving the shul, Motzi Shabbos, I would say to him, a good tavach.
Right.
So he would say a good chodesh.
Nice.
So yeah. So then when Rosh Chodesh came, I said to him a good chodesh, and he said to me a good yor.
There you are. That's right.
So wait. So then when Rosh Hashanah came,
yeah,
and I saw him, and I went up to him and I said a good yor, and he said a good Laban.
Ah.
yeah.
Wow.
A good Laban, he said.
Very nice.
Those gems which we have from the previous generations are very valuable to us. The way they grew up, that their customs and hanhagas, their ways of life are very very precious for us. Anything that we can get from them, we certainly should grab hold of.
But he was terrified. He was terrified of the police. So one day he was not. Towards the end, he was not well. So I used to drive him to his doctor's appointments, and on the way back, I made a little, traffic violation. I went to this stop sign near the yeshiva that you could see in all directions, and nobody ever really stopped. So I made the turn, and as soon as I made the turn, this police car pulls up behind us with the flashing lights, and out of the car and we knew this cop. He was the local cop, in the precinct. And he gets out of his car, and he was probably like 6'8". He was a big giant. a big
Uh-huh.
giant of a guy, and he gets out of his car, and you know, sitting next to me, this old man got so petrified, he was quaking, he was shaking as
Wow.
this cop approached the car. So I said to him, quick. I wondered if the cop got too close, he might have passed out or something. So I said, hurry up, get out of the car, get out of the car. And he did. He opened the door and he left and he slunk away, scared. And the cop came over, and he was the local cop. So I said, well, you got me. I said, you got me. So he laughed and he said, okay, get out of here.
See, you have to realize that.
But that's
the American attitude towards police. Yeah, the American attitude towards police and the American attitude towards the government, let's put it that way, is that the police and the government are your friends, right? There's someone you can rely on, someone who wants to help you.
Yeah.
Right. But you have to realize the Russian experience is completely opposite. The worst thing you wanted to do if you were in Russia was run into anybody had anything to do with the official government, and especially if they were the police. Because if you had anything to do with you could be on it. You could be deported to Siberia within 10 minutes. That was the end of your life. You could be the end of your life just by looking cross. They didn't even have to have an excuse to send the person to Siberia.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Russia, and he explained this to me, that the American attitude towards official anything is completely opposite to the Russian. Anything that has to do in a Russian, anything that has to do with officials is your dead set enemy. You're dead set enemy, and you don't want anything to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
This old man that I was telling you about, he lived in Russia, of course, and he had an underground yeshiva, which meant if you get caught, you go to Siberia. I mean, but he had an underground yeshiva, and many times he went out the back window when they came to check, the buildings and all that. And many times he had to jump out the window.
Right.
So there was another fellow who worked in the yeshiva in the kitchen. He was from Russia, and he got sent to Siberia because his boss was stealing coal, and he was the driver of the coal wagon, and he was stealing coal and selling it, and this Yid didn't know it was stolen. So he's delivering this stolen coal, and the police stopped him and they arrested him because they knew that it was stolen coal, and he got sent to Siberia. And his wife told me that he still at night has horrible nightmares. 50 years later, he still hollers out in his he has terrible nightmares from his time in Siberia. Never.
Sure.
So we don't know from this. We don't know.
Not
We
at
don't
all.
know from all of this.
Not at all. We were spared this. Hashem's mercy was great upon us.
Right.
It still is.
Oh yeah.
Still is. All right, let's continue on. Let's see.
Zion. We're up to Zion.
No, we're up to Chet now.
Yeah, we're up
Chet? Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay. So it says, "Keshematchil shaliach tzibor ritzei kol kohen shebeveit haKnesset ne'ekar mimkomo la'alot leduchan." So when the shliach tzibor of the congregation begins ritzei, each kohen that's in the shul moves from his place to go up to the duchan. The af imlo yagia sham am she yisayem shliach tzibor ritzei. Let's see. But if he does not approach there until the shliach tzibor finishes ritzei, it's still okay. Aval imlo akar raglav b'ritzei shuv lo ya'aleh. Oh, but if he doesn't move his feet at the ritzei, shuv, he should, I guess, not move and go up.
Right, I should not go up, right?
Right.
And again, once the Shliach Tzibor has began, let's say, every Kohen there in the base Knesset should uproot himself from his place to go up to Dukan. Va'afim lo yigesham, even if he doesn't get to the place of the Dukan until he's sign the shots would say it's okay. It's Shapadami, it's okay. Aval im lo akaraglav, let's say for some reason he was maybe he was davening long or something like that, and he wasn't able, for some reason he didn't uproot his legs and move towards the Dukan. Shuv lo ola, he shouldn't go up at that point. We're gonna have to clarify exactly why that should be. What's the apparent strictness about why he's not able to go up after the Shliach Tzibor has finished Ritzei already. Let's see.
What's the word shuv?
Shuv, furthermore. Shuv means furthermore.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, we'll start. I'm not sure we'll be able to finish. Yeah, let's start. Chaf Hey, Simin Chaf, Simin Saf Ketan, Chaf Hey, the Mishna Berura.
Okay, so Shematchil HaShaliach Tzibor. When the Shliach Tzibor begins, we saw Ritzei, the prayer Ritzei. Hainu, Tachatchila Yizaher La'akor B'Hat Chalat HaShliach Tzibor Ritzei. Okay, so let's see. Initially, you should take care. You should be careful to move at the beginning when the Shliach Tzibor says Ritzei.
Right. So that's when you should really start making your movement to the Dukan.
Okay. Aval imlo akar ad shekivar hitchil hashliach tzibor ritzei. Okay, but if he did not move until the shliach tzibor already said ritzei, kol shelo siyem birchat ritzei shapir dami. Oh, so even if he had not finished ritzei, it's still appropriate, I guess, to move.
Right. Okay. I don't want to rush through this, so we'll stop. We'll redo this Mechaber and the Mr. Brewers again tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you all. You all have a good week. Good to see you all. And we'll continue tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay.
All the best. Have a good day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Hello, good morning. How are you? How's
Okay.
everybody doing?
Baruch Hashem.